Greetings, humans! Welcome to Red Seal Roundup here at Red Seal Gaming. I am Dan, and I'm here with
Sal.
And I'm Chris.
And this is episode number 17.
16 plus 1.
Made it through 16. Everything's better now.
We're on the other side.
Everything's better with 16. You're exactly right.
Oh,
Everything is better with 16. All right. We got a little brief store/podcast news before we get into our news with Sal today. We are doing a giveaway on the podcast. From now on, there'll be a giveaway every episode. It'll be something minor. Won't be a lot, but it'll be fun.
Yeah, you win some Red Gobbo socks, GW socks, maybe a GW postcard or
holiday-oriented stuff. But to win said item, sometime during this podcast, you will hear our illustrious magician behind the camera pop in and say a keyword or phrase.
Yeah, could be a floating head. It could be Stormcast Phil. It could be many entities. Could show up.
Many different faces of Phil behind the camera that you guys don't get to see. Well, now you will. So when Phil pops in with his little face and his little keyword or phrase, you will have to have that in the comments below.
Yeah, either leave a comment or and also keep the code word. Put the code word in there too.
And we'll give it away. We'll randomize it, and the winner will get some goodies. Just a little added benefit to watching us here at the roundup.
Yes, very cool.
So other than that, we got some news for the week. What we got, Sally boy?
Well, me and Chris, we're going to bring up some card news.
Yeah, we got some TCG news coming out. Don't talk about Magic a whole lot, but there's some Magic news that came out. We're getting to the end of the year. We're getting a whole bunch of like top 10 lists and like best board games of the year, best
Good
this,
cards.
best that. The Dicebreaker actually just put out a top 10 Magic cards of 2021. Now, I don't play a lot of Magic, but I know that a lot of Magic does get played in the store. And can you guess who number one is?
Is it the monkey?
The monkey, indeed.
Ragavan.
Ragavan, the
Gotta
nimble
love the
pilferer,
monkey.
comes up as number one. And I'm not going to go through all of them, but I do want to mention that a lot of them are blue and red.
Red, blue dominant.
Red, blue dominant for the top. Alrund's Epiphany, that's from... what was the Norse one? I'm blanking. Kaldheim. Then we got Murktide Regent. Then we got Goldspan Dragon, number 4.
Kaldheim, another yep.
And then we had another, I think this one was Red Blue, Expressive Iteration. So the top 5 are all red and blue.
Interesting.
And a little further down the list, you get some red and blacks on there. But I thought that was an interesting read. Urza Saga goes on there. I think that's...
very sought after in the
one.
store. The only reason I knew that was because those are the cards that the Modern and Commander players are constantly chasing.
Just to round out the top 10, because I'm this far anyhow, Shardless Agent is on here. Number 9 is Kalen the Reclusive Painter, a red-black card.
Black. Yeah.
And then finally, number 10, Volky the God of Lies.
Another Kaldheim, the flipper.
So that's I thought that was an interesting little thing, and I'm sure we're going to get lots of little top 10 updates.
Yeah, now that it's that time of the year,
January.
right? Top 10 movies, top 10 songs, so on and so forth.
I love it.
And then they also announced and put up for sale a lot of the secret layers. Just went up. I know my son wanted some.
The secret anniversary, secret versary. I
There's
don't know
a
exactly.
bundle.
It's a bundle. It's like
Got like tons
it's like
of stuff.
almost $600.
There's a commander
I believe.
deck in there. My son was
Yeah.
spoilers. You're getting it for Christmas, maybe, but
Okay.
he already knows. But he was pumped. It's like it's a secret layer commander deck. It's a coin flip deck.
The coin flip deck, yeah. It's cool. It's random. It's fun. I was watching Chris's buddy, Alpha Investments.
Rudy.
Gotta love Rudy.
Love him or hate him.
Yeah, I love him and hate him.
Me too.
That's how it is with Rudy. And I think that's what he wants.
I love him and hate him so much that I have to watch
But I have to watch him. And I think
Exactly.
I think it's what he wants. And he's doing it well.
He's good at it.
But he did mention that he believes that secret layers are the future of Magic. That I don't want to say that he's like, pack up the shop, but it's over. But he is a little concerned that Wizards they get more of the pie when they sell directly.
It's a direct sale.
Right?
Cut
They're
you
trying
out,
to bypass,
cut out stores.
trying to bypass good old Red Seal and make more money. I don't think that they can entirely do that and be successful because in the end,
Not as a
players-
standalone kind
players
of
are the
economics,
lifeblood. But I can see it becoming part of just the gaming industry when it comes to Magic.
Well, it's a good thing you play Flesh and Blood at the store then, because that's going to be the next thing. That one's for you, Mike. Get my
They
cash.
get my cash money.
Get my cash money for mentioning Flesh and Blood.
Yeah.
Going back to Magic for a second, they actually announced or showed some of the new unset cards.
Yes, the Infinity.
The land cards were in there. They look fantastic.
They look great. They do look great, and this is what's happening. They're putting out really cool looking, not must have, but gotta have because it looks cool. Right?
You want to have it.
You want to have it, right?
FOMO.
The FOMO.
And then one of the biggest things with this was they actually took the silver border away.
Yes.
I don't know how I feel about that quite yet.
I'm a little old school. I like that the silver border was known as something that you couldn't use without, saying,
It's
hey,
instant
guys.
recognition, like that having to worry about a little symbol right away and like quick hand shufflings and like, oh, is that wait, what's that
I mean,
card illegal?
it's just opening up a whole can of worms, and then now also they always do things like this for a reason.
Acorn symbol was what they're replacing it with.
Yeah, they said the precedent was set when they did The Walking Dead. Had I think it's a triangular foil symbol on the bottom of it. So this is going to have an acorn symbol, which is right up Mark Rosewater's alley. He loves squirrels. Just take a look at Modern Horizons 2, and you can.
Every pack
has a squirrel in it.
Yeah.
So it's right up their alley. I love unsets. I think they're fun.
No, they're great.
I think they're fun little
great,
standalone things. I think Unhinged was the box set that came out. I thought that was fantastic.
Yeah. There's only one onset that didn't do well, that unsanctioned one. And I think it's probably because the only thing they put in there were some lands.
You know what? That was the one that I was actually talking about because that was the precursor to Jumpstart.
Yes.
Which Jumpstart went crazy.
Yes.
But it was basically the same thing. You got 5 decks, you smash 2 of them together, and you played. I thought it was great. So
the only chase in them, though, was the lands, and the lands weren't that great.
No.
So.
Well, doesn't the problem always lie with Secret Lairs in the end wasn't The Walking Dead contentious because they weren't skins of other cards?
with The Walking Dead,
they were their own like powerhouse of cards. So I mean, I think Wizards could survive in the set is like, all right, well, here's this card that's in the regular set, and there's going to be a full art and all the other.
It's just a reskin of a standard card that's
so
already out there.
it becomes more that the bling as opposed to like, oh, I need this card because this is going to make. I need to play this card. It's the only iteration of this card.
Yeah.
I guess that's the danger. Whereas I think they're smart enough not to have that.
My hope as a player and a store owner, because A, I can't sell it because I can't sell Secret Lair. B, as a player, I don't want to have to be forced to buy the Secret Lair if I don't want to. Like if it becomes a have to because I need that card because it's better for my deck, then that's a problem. And I think that's why the uproar over the.
My big problem with it is I'm a cyclical Magic player. Like I played back in the 90s and I took a break. Then I came back when Origins came out, then I took a break. Then I got really hot and heavy in it when the Innistrad stuff came back out, then I took a break. I'm sure I'm going to go back to Magic at some point.
Some set's going to pull you
There's
back
going to be some Secret Lair that I wanted that I didn't buy because I wasn't playing at that moment.
Yep.
That now I'm going to pay a premium for.
Yep.
So that kind of hurts.
And that's why I think Rudy was referring to it because you know him, he always talks about investment ability, right?
Stocks.
And he mentioned it, and you know what? As soon as he mentioned it, I went to the website to check it out, and the Secret Lair, when you ordered them, it used to be like a cap of like 10. They raised the cap to 60.
Oh, geez.
All right, so you can order 60.
So as a store owner, you can't resell those, right? Is that part of your is that like an agreement with? Like,
I mean, I'm assuming I could. If I bought them, I could do whatever I want with them. They're mine at that point. They're not. The only way I could get them is pay what anybody else would pay. I don't get a discount.
Yeah,
it's just me with an account. I mean, I've ordered Secret Lairs, the D&D ones I have,
and then one cycle out, it's an upsell. Like any other place, it's an upsell.
I paid the same price that you did. So
it was 60, now it's 120. That's the market. You know what I mean? Like that.
And that's why
sucks.
Rudy's all over it because that's what he's all about, right? Making investments. It's about investing.
Not
in
now. He's looking at 5 years down the road when a cyclic player comes back and it's like, hey, I want. Whoa! Look at these skinned, Dracula cards, or creatures from the Black
Lagoon. You got to remember, it's not.
See,
there you go. It's not just you don't get a play set either. You get one of everything. So if you want the play set, which I did with the D&D, I bought 4 of the D&D ones because I wanted the play set. So if you want the play set, now you're looking at bigger money. So just another reason not to be a standard player because you don't want to have to chase the playset.
No.
If they're modern player, and if you don't want to chase the playset. Just stay with Commander. Cards, it's just like, all right, one's good. I can have one. Yeah. But then you're like, well, I wanted in 3 of my Commander decks. Well, now you're buying more.
Well, it all depends on the power, too. Like, some cards are obviously a Commander card, right? And some cards are like, whoa, 4 of these in standard would be killer, right?
Yeah.
So, like, what the card does dictates that. But, that's a... That's a crappy business model for
It's a crappy
Wizards.
business model for a store owner.
Well, yeah,
I'll tell you right
you're
now.
getting cut.
But they're obviously it's not a crappy business model because they keep pumping them out and people keep buying them.
Yeah.
As long as they keep buying them, they're going to keep doing it.
Because it's in addition to. As long as it's in addition to, I hate that in my rule books and in addition to, like 5 rules in. But it is as long as it's not the be all end all rule or the card that it's like, oh, it's a reskinning. Like I got Gigan you gave me. He's a reskinning of a card that's in that set.
That's the better way to do it.
Yeah. If it stays that way, if you want to spend extra money,
I can still have the same power as you. I just don't have the cool factor.
Yeah. We'll see.
I think they learned their lesson with Walking Dead, even if they don't want to say it outright.
Uproar.
I think that they realize they made a mistake. They'll never admit it.
No,
they're a
they
big
never
company.
do.
They're not going to do anything like that. But I think that they know that the skin, like doing the Dracula as a version of Sorin, is the way to
that's
go.
the better way to go. And if you like it, you go after it, you chase it, you pay the premium or whatever.
Cool.
That's how it works.
Last little bit of trading card news. Flesh and Blood. This hot off the presses just today, about an hour ago.
Yeah.
Welcome to Wraith, the very first set going out of print.
This is Wednesday, December 1st, so people know.
Yeah. And it literally dropped December 2nd, New Zealand time, this afternoon, that they are actually going to put out of print their very first set, Welcome to Wraith. They're going to have a big farewell event. We've already talked about how we're going to have that at the store, so that's going to come up in January. It's a very specific date. I think it's January 28th through 30th. We can run it, but we'll be doing everything we can to make sure that happens.
16-player maximum.
Correct. We're going to be doing draft of Welcome to Wraith, and there's a potential for Case Alpha, but that's a very, very slim potential.
It's very slim. A case of Alpha being won by a store and a case of Alpha being won by a player.
Yeah, North American player, a European player, but one for the North American market and then one for a store, a case.
Yeah.
That'd be pretty cool to win.
That would be really cool. I mean, talk about financial boon.
Do you guys also mention in the Discord that you guys are getting some kind of like tabletoppers?
The store has run enough events. Thank you to all the people that come out and play Flesh and Blood on Sundays. We have played enough events that we are eligible for those tablecloth. I guess they're kind of like almost like spandex extenders over the table, so they're going to be showing up at the store hopefully by the end of December.
By the end of December, yeah. According to the information we saw online.
That's great. So you have enough player base and you have enough visibility that you're getting
Chris has been
noticed.
running the events on the weekends. We've been running them, pretty much every weekend for almost 3 months since the new store, right?
Since before the new store, we were running them at the old store.
We were doing them at the old store too. So almost 5 or 6 months. We're buying every set that comes out. We get as much as we can get. I already just ordered the new set today. I ordered triple the amount that we normally order because it's become so popular. It's booming. They seem to be doing stuff that Magic used to do with the events and the giveaways, and we get the monthly prize kit to the store.
Yep. Speaking of that, we got the festive kit that's coming. So
we'll have it. Yeah, we'll have it for
away those festive baubles.
Yeah,
they have a holiday kit.
That's
smart. That's so smart.
You want to do it? We'll see. Maybe this weekend.
Not sure when it's going to happen, but we'll get those out before the holiday season, before the new year. That way, people can have their festive baubles for the festive.
Every game should have a holiday kit, just like a lost.
Well, they've been making a kit now for us every month.
Oh, I'm saying for that game. I'm saying for other games. Every game
we're actually the store is actually a cycle behind everywhere. We're basically 3 weeks behind the cycle because when we got into it. So this kit was designed specifically for December. We'll get most of it out for the holiday. Probably, maybe 1 week into January.
Yeah, we'll see how it works out. We'll see how it shakes out.
Kind of pumped to see those tabletops.
To get the last one.
They have swag like that.
Cool. That's cool.
Banners, swags, table mats, like all the stuff you can get official is
They also put up a list of retailers that were eligible, so they let everybody know.
It's like a thank you in a way. Like you've been buying a product.
It felt cool. What was it? Only 120.
Well, it was cool. Red Seal Gaming is in the top 10%.
Top 10%.
That's awesome.
And we're fledgling at this point. We're kind of just starting on the journey.
Yeah, so that just shows you how involved the community is.
That's awesome.
You puff your chest about that. I was like, oh my god, really? We're that high already?
That company is located where?
They're located in New Zealand.
Okay, so there's a very slim chance that they're going to be at PAX.
If they're going to be at PAX at all, it's probably going to be like a third party, like Fantasy Flight used to do for their XWing events
like
and
a
stuff
representative
like that.
there.
GF9's a New Zealand company too, right?
Don't know if that's.
I did. They were overseas. I remember the shipping on them was something was crazy.
If they are, this particular company is doing it a lot better than GF9.
Well, yeah, I'm saying, but GF9's usually a PAX too. Okay. I mean, maybe it's a subsidiary that's here in the States and stuff. But interesting, it maybe
if
come to PAX. And then,
if a player or a store wins that first edition printing, I just happened to pull up TCG Player as we're talking.
You just did? Oh,
I just happened
you
to
just
do
happen
it.
to know this on the top of your head?
Yeah, that the market price for a first edition booster box.
did
box.
Boba tell you that?
Boba told me
Okay.
that. Yeah. First edition booster box, market price $4,500 right
Whoa,
now.
that's a lot of credits.
And that's,
It's a lot of
that's
credits.
box. They're giving away a case.
Oh, they're giving
A case.
whoa.
So times that by 4. That's
They got stockpile. That means
how much? It's over $16,000, Christopher.
Whoa.
How amazing is that?
You know what? I like that 16.
Yeah,
I'll
you
take
like
that.
that? Oh, there we go. See,
I'll
he's
take that.
coming.
There's only some good 16s. That's what.
This is the way.
That's
Oh
funny.
boy.
This is the way.
Sorry, Boba.
I'm just a simple man.
All right. Well, that's pretty much all of the trading card news. I think we had some other miniatures news, right?
Well, we were going to talk about the Marvel Crisis Protocol.
We just had the event last night.
So today is the 1st of December. Yesterday was the very first of the MCP OP kits.
Yep.
Way threw together a nice little event for 8 of us, and we played. It was all of their kits, like we said last week, are all about just interaction and playing and enjoying the game. Interesting kind of thing, though. Seemed like the scenario was a little one-sided.
Okay.
And whoever was, I think out of the 4 tables that were playing, only one of the attackers was actually able to win.
There's an attacker and defender
Attacker
scenario.
and a defender scenario.
Right.
And it seemed like it was really, really stacked against the attacker. And if
Okay.
you didn't take a very specific strategy, you probably were going to have a tough time at it. And this kind of got into a little conversation like, do we like when you have a lopsided game like that? Do you like when, like we used to play Star Wars Imperial Assault. Pre the app, there was always one, I always call him a DM or
the
whatever you want to call it. There was an
Overlord.
Overlord.
Yeah.
And then there was the other player characters.
He controlled the Imperials. That Overlord would control the Imperials versus the heroes.
So when we played, I owned the game, so I knew the rules the best. I played the Imperials because they're also my boys. And you guys would play the Rebels. And I don't know, did you guys like it when I was an Overlord, or do you prefer it when we're in an app?
When we look back on those first games, it wasn't that I wasn't having. No, I was having fun, but we did it. We never succeeded. Like there was no like. It was. I think we died every time, or like we didn't even get past the first like. And then when we played the app, though, I mean, we completed the whole game. Like so, like we never got past the first mission.
I think
when the Overlord system
I think it was a
there.
combination of things. One player knew the game better than we did. We were still new. So
Well,
that's
yeah,
on
the learning side, yeah.
Not his fault. We're learning. So you got to learn how to play the game. And then from this side, you have to learn how to play the characters. Make sure you're picking the right combination of characters. So there's a lot of factors that go into it. But even after multiple attempts
Doing that,
and
yeah.
multiple party combinations, we were struggling early. But when we did get through the first 2 levels, the roles reversed quickly. It became to the point where the game master was just getting stomped by the group once we got over that barrier.
So my question is, was some of that part of the game design? Like as a rebel, if you're trying to design a Star Wars game, do the rebels really, should they be as strong as the
shouldn't be-
Empire in game number 1?
I also don't want to win
Should
right
they?
off the bat.
No.
I
No,
don't
it
want to win.
wasn't.
It's be boring.
But it was in that game too. Was also like a little bit of role play. It wasn't really winning as a board game. It was more success. Like, I completed the mission,
Yes.
and I'm furthering the storyline.
And we
And we
lost 1 or 2 guys in the process, which you're supposed to do.
Yeah,
I mean, you're
and so I
you're
feel like
fighting,
I feel like that early games we never progressed the storyline because we couldn't get past anything, and then like we had to kind of through attrition get to like a point where we got some gear and maybe we could go farther. And I enjoyed because I never felt also that like the app driven part of the game was necessarily easy, but I felt like when we were all playing and coordinating,
it felt better.
it felt better,
Right.
and I felt like
I don't like. I got a just opinion. All right, I don't like the game master games because we are playing against him. His job is to stop us, and I don't like that. It just makes a natural animosity. Not that Chris is a pain or anything like that, but it's our job to fight against him. It becomes adversarial
I've been
right off the bat.
I've been in game groups where not this group, but I've been in game groups where I've been the adversary, and people kind of like get irritated
They
by
get-
it, and
yeah.
they can almost get a little like
Like you did it on purpose.
They get a little like, oh, you're cheating, you know the game, you're cheating, you're doing this, so you just want to win. Like
That's why I don't like it. It's just that it's not necessarily happening, but it gives that appearance.
I think you can just tell that this is going away because so many app games are coming out. Like They redid Imperial Assault. The new Descent is
Arkham
all
Horror.
Rings, right?
Lord of the Rings, the Journey
The
to
Arkham
Middle Earth.
Horror
And-
has an app too, right?
I believe the
Yeah.
Mansions of Madness is the
Mansions of
Arkham
Madness,
Horror one
okay.
that has
And
that.
Descent was the first one where it was the Overlord,
Yeah.
but it felt different than being a dungeon master. Like I don't feel like
that's probably exact. You hit it right on the head for me. Why I probably don't like it is, as a dungeon master for all these years, my biggest problem is trying to tell the players that I am not your enemy. I don't look at me that way.
you're the storyteller.
I'm just a storyteller. If the creature is too hard, it's my fault. I'll tell you right off the bat. If it's that hard, and you guys, it's a any TPK. I'm the kind of guy I am. 9 times out of 10, it's probably my fault as a dungeon master. Right? Don't get me wrong. Every now and then you get to the group and they just don't listen and
We've
whatever. But I
overextended
would
ourselves. We've
still
done stuff like
do
that.
everything in my power to the point of listen, go the other way. I would even say that if I had to. It's better to have that than have a TPK, right? So these games make me the adversary. I am your enemy. Now and I don't like that. So, I mean, again, it's probably just a personal thing. I just don't like that adversarial board game play.
No.
I
'Cause
prefer
I think
the-
board games
I
are like
have
that
to
in
do the-
general. Like we're all kind of like against each other going for
Think how
our
much fun
objective.
we had with Imperial Assault with the app.
Oh,
That's
like I
my
said,
fun-
We
my-
finished the whole thing.
But we
Yeah.
and we did it,
And we did it twice. We
and
did
it
it-
felt it wasn't easy and also wasn't hard.
Yeah.
It was just fun.
Yeah, I remember the
And
first
in the
time.
end, isn't that all that matters?
The first time we did it though, we had the optimal characters.
Yes.
The second time we did it, we're like, all right,
Well, let's try.
let's try the
some-
characters no one's playing. You remember my favorite guy, the my Aqualish with the
Oh,
forearms.
what-
I don't even know his name. That was his name.
Yeah.
It was so much fun playing him, and he was not the optimal guy. When you looked up like Imperial Assault, what's the best guy weapon combo?
What's the Imperial
They were
Assault
not
meta?
them,
Yeah.
but we still had fun.
And I like the leadership casts. I like the guys that are like supportive. They do a little bit of damage, but it's more about helping and controlling and ordering the battlefield.
But
So-
but getting back to the scenario thing is that kind of scenario box is kind of like I see what AMG's wants to do with their tenure of their games is kind of like we're going to give you the scenario. It's a scenario, right? It has nothing to do with meta. Like don't come with a meta game where you're playing. These are the best. This is like the boiled down best list of these combos with this to go to the table and try and win in a tournament. And they just want you to just show up. Have some guys, put them in the scenario. Hey, that didn't work. Let's switch. You switch now. You're attacker. I'm defender.
I think that's something to keep in mind that these scenarios are supposed to go home with you when you finish the OP
And then
kit,
you-
and you're supposed to play them again.
yes.
So like
And you
if
play
you
group.
get stomped the first time, well, now I know better. Now I'm going to come back with a different list. Maybe one that's not meta, maybe one that's more geared towards this.
Yeah, and I think maybe people are thinking more like, oh, it's a tournament kit. Like the idea of a tournament kit is like the reward for playing at the highest
and that's
level,
not
right?
what it is, yeah.
And those are not. Those are scenarios. They're just like, hey, what if this happened? What if you're stealing vibranium in that? You're
Yeah,
trying
it's
to
the vibranium heist.
That's kind of cool. Like, I mean, like I know they're coming out with the XWing ones, and like I know it's not your traditional 200. They're going to be something different. Like, so it's breaking the normal parameters game. Here's another way to play. So I don't know.
It's something maybe that just the group might have to adjust to. They're probably used to a more competitive kind of game, whereas this was just a have fun kind of game.
Yeah. Well, it's also meant to be the intro pack for new players. Like, hey, come in the store. Here's your off the wall event where you don't have to worry about maybe that kind of thinking, and try and steal the vibranium, and and then maybe swap, and then play 2 games best out of swap it out, and you attack and I'll defend.
I mean, the other thing is you just have to accept the fact that some people just don't like it.
Yeah,
It's like anything else. I mean, it's just going to happen.
Yep.
You just don't like that style of play.
Not everybody likes.
Or maybe that mission. They'll try hopefully they'll be willing to try the other one and see what happens.
and
We
that-
have 3 others in the store.
And that's where more is more. Whereas, all right, if you're gonna do that, AMG, make kits often,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Because there's no miniatures in there, right?
Nope.
No.
So-
So couple pieces of cardboard, couple cards.
So I mean,
not hard.
if
it's a nominal cost
if you
for the
end
store.
the
It's
year
not-
and you
it's
have
not hurting.
10 kits, however they're doing quarterly, bi-quarterly, however you're doing them, just do a lot of them. Throw all the weirdness at us, and then
I
then
know.
it doesn't become
I
oh,
heard
this is
that
my
word
only
too.
one in
That's
6
going on-
months.
that's going on the list.
Wait. Who's doing that monthly kits? Oh, that's right. Flesh and
Flesh
Blood.
and
is
Blood. I
doing
knew
it.
he
Ah,
was
there you go,
going
Mike.
there.
There you go.
I knew he was going to go there. They're doing a monthly kit.
More is
and
more.
It's more is more, and it's just goodies. It's not even like a play style. Whatever. It's just
That's the reward.
52 weeks of play with Legend Story Studios.
every
get much
week.
better than that.
Because they give you a monthly kit, but it's a weekly event.
Yeah, I think
So every week they're giving. I
paper
mean, it's
and
a
cardboard.
It's what I'm saying.
Yeah. You can do it for X-Wing. You can do
It's
it
not,
for
we're not talking about minis,
MCP.
and I get the cost. I mean,
Paper and cardboard goes a long way.
goes
Alt
a long
cards,
way.
like just those alt art
it's
cards.
engagement, player engagement.
Yeah.
It's what's worked for the store. It's why the store is so big. It's player engagement.
Yeah.
We give them a place to play.
But if this is the only MCP kit you have for the next 6 months,
No,
I can see where you get sour.
fortunately-
It's like where
fortunately we
there's
caught
more
up.
coming. But
They did just put one out for Dormammu, which is probably going to be a couple months in the future for our group because we're behind by a little bit. But I mean, it looks like whenever they put out a big set of releases,
they're going to do.
they're
one.
going to maybe do another one
wave.
that kind of goes along with it.
That's kind of cool.
Which I guess kind of brings us to the last little bit of news that I wanted to bring up was that this weekend is brand new MCP models
Brand new
are coming
MCP is
in.
coming in. The rest of the Doctor Strange stuff. The Colossus, I think another terrain piece.
Yeah, the Sanctum Sanctorum is
Sanctorum
coming. I actually have a list of them on here if my phone will ever actually reload. So Dormammu came out the last time along with Blade and Moon Knight. People have been playing a lot of Moon Knight. I didn't realize he was so well loved. There's a new
I
doc.
didn't know either.
I mean,
honestly.
I knew of him tangentially, and I knew of him more because they're putting out a show, but I wasn't on the scene for Moon Knight.
No,
I guess.
I don't even know his origin story. So
It's
They
almost
just
like it's almost like that god entity, kind of like Shazam, taking like multiple essences to become his. Like Shazam's a god of like or wizard. Like it's like
he's
an
a
old
representation
god.
of the old god's powers.
Yeah,
is what-
I know Moon
he's
Knight's in
got
that thing, that vigilante. It's got that kind of.
So
We
he-
grew up with Daredevil, so
Yeah.
like the vigilante
so he
and the
gets his
small.
powers from.
I
from
want to say,
magic?
don't quote me on this because I don't know enough Moon Knight, but I feel like from what I've seen in the snippets of trailer for the show and then the other things, it's kind of like multiple personalities involved with.
Interesting.
Interesting, yeah.
Pretty much all I know about him is that Poe Dameron is Moon Knight. That's what I know.
Pretty much, yes.
If you know who Moon Knight is and you know his backstory, put it in the
Put it in
comments.
the comments.
below.
Let us know who he
Yeah, we
is.
wanna-
I'm
we
sure
wanna-
there's
we
got to be
wanna know.
there's got to be a
Educate.
Moon Knight
Educate
fanboy out
us.
there.
Yes, very cool.
So Doctor Strange and Clea. So Doctor Strange is actually an alternate model. So it's going to be a different model with different rules that go along with it. Doctor Voodoo and Hood. Hood actually just came out for Marvel Champions.
That's for the pack.
That's a really good one. Mordo and Ancient One. So another set that comes directly from Doctor Strange. And then lastly, the big boy, the Sanctum Sanctorum.
Sanctorum.
is
Oh,
coming
they
out.
have his house, like
And
the
The last thing, which I think is really cool, is they're actually doing these rival kits.
Yeah.
So it's going to be two models.
Spider-Man and
Spider-Man and Dr. Octopus is the
Dr.
first one, but it's going to be two models that you can play in the game, but it's also going to come with a terrain piece that you can put the two models in that looks like a panel from a comic book. So you got like two uses here. You could paint your models and
Display piece.
display them in their nice little display area, or you could take them off the display area and play.
so
with them.
collectability.
The on top of it and play.
For the purposes of entering the giveaway, the secret phrase is Cellar Dweller.
On top of
collectability
instead of
and
playing.
modeling and okay, very cool.
And this Dr. Octopus looks so much better
better.
than the core box
He
Dr.
does.
Octopus.
He does.
So-
I'm expecting them to fly off the shelf as soon as they come in. They're shipping. What's today? Today is the 1st. It's Wednesday. They're shipping tomorrow.
That's kind of cool.
So I'll have
Upgraded,
them in the store next week for release day.
upgraded
Very cool.
sculpt is kind of cool to go back on something that maybe you're not happy with, and they'll just put out another version. That's kind of
And that's one thing that Atomic Mass is not afraid to do. They're changing everything. I mean, I just went to Staples the other day and printed out 24 new stat cards
Yeah.
out of like 75 or 80 models. They
Yeah.
changed 24 of them completely.
that's in that conversation.
Easily a third of their.
That's that conversation we were talking about. Like you
Making
buy a
it-
game, and then like in a very
Digital-
short amount of time, those things you have in the core starting game is no longer
The
valid.
digital world is coming, and it's coming now. It's already here, and it's coming faster than people want to accept it. Because it's better for the company, too.
True.
You know, it's
And we got to
shipping,
invent them. We got to
cardboard
invent
printing.
digital
It's
tables.
also better for the players.
We got to invent tables
You
that
get
are
updated
just.
info. They update the card. Here it is.
We see
You
it
don't
in
have to go anywhere and get it.
We see it in X-Wing. X-Wing 2.0 went
It's-
away from the paper card with the point cost.
Which is why I
Yeah.
think that it added to the success of X-Wing.
They made the cards more simplistic, and then they could adjust the points
Yeah.
as they found the
Took-
meta getting out of hand.
Yes.
But I'm old school. when we played that AOS game, I had my cards all laid
Oh,
out.
and I did not. And I felt like a book. I was like the librarian with like a stack of books. That was not fun.
It was nice to have that tangible thing that I could pick up and look at. But at the same time, I know that the digital age is coming, but these companies don't have an app yet.
No.
Which is also an issue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. Where do you guys
that's-
build your lists for MCP?
I just build them
That's
willy-nilly,
pen and paper,
honestly. I know there's a couple of places out there, a couple of the community members probably know better than I do.
It's not that. It's only 5 models. It's not.
Well, you make 10, right? And then show up
And
with
then you show up
maybe.
with 10.
Yeah, 10, and then you show up with you show up with 10, you bring 5
You
to the
bring
table.
5.
Hopefully one day we'll have, like I said, we'll invent digital tables. So the table is a screen. You just be like, oh, shoot, shoot. Here's my cards and you know, and then you can play on the surface and it doesn't make a difference.
Yep.
Because there is
I mean,
that
that's
element
coming.
of
There are. I mean, those are all in development too. There's a
it's
bunch
called-
of companies doing
Called
that.
Tabletop Simulator, but I'm not ready to make that my only way of playing games.
No, I want the two together.
yeah. I
I
mean,
want the two together.
if think about it, like if
Because I do
if-
like modeling.
if
I
my
like painting. I like building. I like doing that stuff. I still want to do that.
True, yes. But if I'm at my game station, like if I'm at a table and my table had a a double width iPad screen in front of me, and that was part of the table, and like, all right, I don't have to worry about my phone. Like I can access the things on the table that I need instead of having the cards. I'm still playing with miniatures and dice and stuff, but now like the digital cards are there in front of me. It'd be really cool.
So Red Seal Gaming 3, when it opens, we make digital. We just put iPads and tablets into the tables for them.
right? Fuck
You can just pull
Yeah,
up their
about
own
to
stuff
say.
right there. You don't even need to use your phone. You just come right in and use our
yeah.
tablets.
There you go. Bring up your
You
screens.
gotta have the smoke machine come out from
Smoke
behind
machine.
the table.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
You don't know if
It's
the
on the
tablet's on fire or if the
it's
table's on fire.
Yeah.
Or your dice so hot that you're burning the table. I don't know. We'll see.
But interesting. That's a conversation to have more about down the road. We'll see what the outcome of, rules going into, changing them very quickly.
Dan's absolutely right. It's going to be all digital, and that's just the way that it's going to be. But don't tease me with cards if you're going to take them away from me, I guess, is my kind of thing.
It is
I,
hard.
I love opening that box and looking at the card and having that stat, and then when I'm building a list, I can take the cards out and line them up. It's like, okay, these are my 3-point models. This is my 2-point
I've been
model
doing it with
pile.
Sigma already too, so I get it.
But it's hard
is
spending
fun.
money on something you're like worried about that's going to
that's the
change
thing, like-
in under 3 months.
Well,
Like, you know what I mean? Like,
the Stormcast card pack is like $45 because it's huge because we know how big the Stormcast army is, right? They changed the point cost of the dragons before they even released. So those cards are already. I mean, some people don't even have those
well,
cards.
it's good that the point
They're-
costs aren't on the card though. In
Yeah, yeah.
reality, that's the only good thing. They rarely change the stats of like, oh, it was a 2+ save, now it's a 3+.
Yeah.
That's really drastic.
Mhm.
But yeah, but like when they're doing stuff like that, where the inherent card is changing, like his ability's changing.
I played the Guardians last night. Peter Quill's entire Guardian of the Galaxy rule
It's
is completely
different.
changed.
completely different.
So if I had the card and not the printout, it would have been a completely different game.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's happening with Age of Sigmar. The more I research the rules, the more I'm like, well, the book's not right. Or like,
Yeah.
oh, this is not right. I have to find the errata right away and go to the errata, and now it's
Living rules are the way to go.
yes.
That's just the way it is. It's better for the game too. I think it's better for the health of the game because you get frustrated. Somebody's like, "Oh, you're doing it wrong." What do you mean? Oh, well, they just put it in this
Yeah,
book,
and
then
that's-
you're like, and you're pissed because
Yeah.
you like
Well, either you're going to
maybe-
stick it out or you're going to walk away. That's your only
yeah,
options.
Maybe you built your whole list around this particular rule working with this, and now it doesn't, and now you're like,
You throw your hands up and say this sucks and walk away, or you
Yeah,
stick it
yeah.
out. Like there's only two options. It's very middle road. It's like I'm going to kind of do half. No, it's either you stick with it or you drop it. But yeah, interesting to see. In the end, it's cool to see new, but AMG pumping out the models. That's kind of very cool.
It is cool to see them kind of like really. I don't even know how long this game's been out. I'm new to MCP. I'm new to this whole game, but it seems like there's a lot of models out.
yeah,
Pretty short time.
short time.
They just had a
I mean,
paint-
just the fact that this wave is coming out, and we're talking about what 6 kits. That's a lot of times a lot of these games it's like X-wing they only did what 2 kits.
Well, it's again that's under FFG's.
I know,
kinda
I'm
like,
just saying,
Like I
you
think
know,
this is their
yeah.
baby. Like, and once again, the Marvel. I wonder how far ahead these. Obviously, we know there's a production. Like, is this the backlog of like last year's coming out now? Obviously, there's a lot of time in
But how
between.
good? I mean, look, we're talking about 5-6 kits, a terrain piece, 5 or 6 models. How cool would it be if X-wing is like every faction got a ship on a wave game?
I think that's coming. I feel like that's
that
going
would
to
be
come.
that would really like stoke the fires.
I think you also have an issue where how many characters are there in the Marvel universe versus
there's
how
so
many
many.
ships
Yeah.
are there?
Oh no,
in
there's no
Star Wars?
comparison. Marvel has definitely got them.
There's a
in
lot.
there.
But they're catching
we
up.
just talked about Moon Knight.
Yeah,
right?
we-
Well, I didn't
aside-
hear about him until MCP.
Aside though
So-
from X-Men and like the 20th Century Fox acquisitions, like whoever's in that realm,
Yeah.
they haven't been brought over yet. You know, there's no Fantastic Four, right? Like no
mutants.
So like
Well,
so
there are mutants in MCP.
Some-
MCP,
MCP
there's,
has
there's-
mutants. Yeah,
Some-
They're mostly comic book oriented when it comes to
Oriented.
their styling and their colorization on the box art and stuff like
There's-
that. They're staying away from MCU.
There's-
I'm actually curious, will they eventually re-release models with their MCU counterparts?
interesting.
Like maybe you can't use their facial likeness, but now here's the third Doctor Strange that's got the motif of
Cumberbatch.
the Cumberbatch.
Cumberbatch, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's but they don't have like the full. So I'm sure there's going to be MCP still fairly new, where they're going to reach a threshold of like, well, they're making that guy like they're on that. They're
Well,
on that tertiary guy.
I thought they were there with Moon Knight.
He's pretty
Yeah.
popular from like comic book sales. I mean, like so like
Well, they're not done with popular characters because in the
Still-
new year the Juggernaut is coming.
Yeah, I'm the Juggernaut, man.
yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting to see. Like they just had a paint stream on Twitch with the AMG, and they were painting. Does Colossus have? Is there a sculpt of Colossus? He's holding up a Sentinel arm.
Yeah, so there and then that next wave, the New Year wave, is going to have a new terrain piece as well. That actually is I think it's a Roxxon gas station, and it's got a broken Sentinel that's crashed through.
into.
Does the current Colossus is he holding up a?
There isn't a Colossus out
Colossus
yet.
is not
There
I
is.
think
Oh, so what
he's
they were
coming
painting.
with
So
that
what they were
set.
painting on the stream is so he's
well, a lot
holding
of
a
the
Sentinel's
mutants-
arm, which I thought was really
A
interesting.
lot of the mutants aren't out yet.
That's
Yeah,
interesting.
so like Cyclops, Storm is out. They're the leaders of the X-Men. You have a Jean Grey that's out. There's a couple that I'm going to miss. There's
There's
a Beast.
Wolverine, right?
There's a Beast
Wolverine.
holding a book with glasses
With
on.
glasses
It
on.
is amazing.
That's coming.
No, that's
It's
out.
out.
That's
That's
okay.
It's out now.
And they give you like the options of changing the head or like
That's
hold
cool.
the book or have a claw out. Like it's fun
There's
the
so
way
many
that they do
mutants
that.
they can go into too. No
Toad is in
Magneto
there.
yet. No Magneto yet.
Magneto's in there.
Magneto and
Is he
Toad
out?
are in the
Oh, yeah.
same.
Oh, okay.
yeah.
It's Magneto Toad. That's right. I'm sorry.
But yeah, there's
Mystique.
definitely there's definitely some more
I mean, so much more they can go with mutants alone.
yeah, and I think like a lot of them are acquisition properties that they probably are now
I haven't even
becoming
touched the
more.
Fantastic- You're right. They haven't even touched the Fantastic Four yet.
Yeah, and I think that's but
And
that could
that'll-
also
that'll
be
come.
holding on to like knowing a movie's going to come out. Like they might get the call from Disney and be like,
Give me Doctor Doom.
yeah, I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah, yeah. I
maybe
mean,
they're
come on.
holding back on those. Like, all right, we're going to save these for the hype of when these movies come out or TV shows or whatever they're doing for them. Maybe that's also what's happening with X-Wing too.
Maybe
Is
they'll finally launch Fantastic Four properly.
it's already. I mean, they already announced the movie. Like, it's just when and who. We don't have no casting. You know, they actually called someone in. I forgot the actor's name. To
How
to
many times?
Kevin
How many times do you
Feige.
give them a chance to do this?
Well, that was when they announced Phase 4. Didn't they make the 4? And
They made a
shape of
4,
the
yeah.
Fantastic
So
Four?
it's happening. It's just we'll see. It's
Well,
curious
if
to
it
see.
gets the full MCU treatment, it's bound to be better, right?
Yeah, anything,
I mean, I can hope, right?
anything better.
You also don't have to give them their own movie right away. You could insert Reed Richards into movie X.
Yeah,
Yeah.
As,
TV
a, as, a,
show.
as, a,
As an
a stinger-
advisor.
as
I
a
mean, he's an
stinger
advi-
at the end.
He's the typical scientific. Oh, we have to advise. We need an advisor. Let's go.
Yeah,
Let's go to
yeah.
Reed Richards. He's the expert on cosmic interference. We'll talk to Reed Richards. And
Just like plant that seed, make everybody hype for it, and then bring them in once you have
oh snap! That's him. You know.
yeah, yeah. There's an actor that Kevin Feige interviewed. We took him out to lunch. I forgot his name. He's I don't know the actor's name, but he was in that
I mean, shouldn't the
50 Shades of Grey. He was like
Okay.
the main actor.
As Reed Richards?
Okay.
Well,
we don't know.
so like that's the thing. Like, all right,
He's
they don't
young
know
enough to
why
be-
he
he's
was
young enough to be
interviewed, but
Human Torch, too.
when you look at him, there was a picture of him with Scruffy, and they showed like a recent drawing of Reed Richards in the comics. He has a beard, and it's like, whoa, like, he would
looked
make
like a-
this guy is
'Cause-
like
yeah.
a great casting for that. So people are like, are they starting to start
'Cause the
look
Human
at
Torch should
casting?
be a punk, like a young punk.
I mean, there's so many different versions. Like they've portrayed him so many ways. I mean, you go back to the original portrayal. He's like a
Sue Storm is the typical blonde Barbie type, right?
Maybe Chris Evans comes back and plays the humans. He goes from
Ooh,
if the
He's too old.
Maybe he's aged. You know.
Nah, he's too old. The Torch has to be a punk. I mean, that's what he is. He's a cocky, which is why his power.
they'll cast someone.
Became
And make,
that
you know,
because he is.
it'll be like
Well, how about no? What do you do? Just real quick, how do you do Grimm?
you do him exactly how you do the Hulk. I think you have to
CGI?
do. Yeah, I mean, look, I mean, We know the Hulk is CGI, right? But like it's Ruffalo. I mean, you see Ruffalo in there.
Then who does the voice then?
I think a Korg, like Korg from
I would say
Guardians of the Galaxy
looks like that.
and Thor. Like that's
like
Taika
that,
Waititi, and I mean he's a great
So
character. I
so
love
you
that
could just
guy.
do
I
a
mean,
really
why
gruff
not-
voice.
why
Could
not-
be
why not-
Jason Momoa back there.
it's
You don't
gotta
see him.
be-
We don't know.
Come on, you're missing the dad joke here. It's got to be The Rock. Come on.
Okay, I made it for an episode.
It's
and a half.
gotta
I
be
gotta
The
go.
Rock.
You know, maybe.
It's got to be The Rock.
He's in everything. You can't put him in this too.
Why not? He's not in MCU.
He's in DC.
Yeah, he's
Well, he's
going
not
to
in
be the
MCU.
Black Adam.
He's got to be
He
MCU.
makes a better Black
If-
Adam than anyone. I think
Absolutely.
he's like dead on
but
Black Adam.
If Ryan Reynolds can go DC and Marvels, then so can The Rock.
I mean, he went from a dead DC property to Marvel.
Well, let's not get me started on that either, because Green Lantern is still one of my favorite DC characters.
He can be one of
And
your
they
favorite.
messed-
I
and
totally
they messed
accept
that
that.
up
But that
terribly.
movie,
I think CG though. I think a CG like they did Korg. I feel like Korg is the
Yeah, he
same
looks like-
material
it's-
as
yes,
him. That
that's
he
why,
just
yeah.
gets a different version of that.
I think
so-
you're right. Yeah,
But
but
he's gotta be
my
big
vote's
and
The
he's-
Rock. That's all I'm saying.
by the time this gets off the ground, the Rock's gonna be like 50.
I don't care. Well,
Yeah.
all we need is his voice.
Oh, so
You
we're
just said.
gonna Vin Diesel this. We're gonna make a.
Well, we need him in the beginning. If they're gonna do like the origin story, we need The Rock in the beginning.
yeah, I
right?
guess.
Just for 10 minutes in the beginning when they're in the ship.
But he's so Diesel. He's like, I mean, like Mark Ruffalo makes sense as Banner going to the Hulk.
yeah,
The
but Ben
Rock's
Grimm
already
was a big
Diesel
dude.
going to.
Grim was like supposed to be.
I guess he's like a wrestler or
And
he's like
it
a.
was I'm saying.
He was like a. He
Well,
was
that's
the,
what
he
I'm
was
saying.
the muscle astronaut,
All
right? Or
their
like,
powers supposedly originate from their
Yeah, I
mindsets.
guess.
That's
He could do
why.
it.
That's why the Human Torch is on fire, because he's a crazy hormonal teenager.
Yeah, I couldn't think of too many other muscle that's working in as actors right now that you could, that could be charismatic and
I'm
gruffy.
fine with
Maybe
I'm fine with The Rock. All right,
Interesting.
That's all I'm saying.
Interesting.
Just as
I'll defer.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
But
Well, do you have another choice?
No, I absolutely do.
Okay.
Absolutely
no,
do
I
not.
can't even.
That's
I
why
didn't even
defer.
think of like I can't even
Well,
think
that's
of
the,
who
that's the
would.
dad joke in me. That's what that is. All right, come on, The Rock, Ben Grimm. I mean,
But I,
clobbering time.
as it goes to AMG though, I feel like they are holding back. Like it feels like a long time for a lot of stuff, but there's probably tie-ins for releases and seasons. Like Book of Boba Fett stuff's going to come out. Like we're going to probably see like, oh, here's an announcement of like here's all these. I think Obi-Wan's going to spawn a lot of things for in-game stuff. So
Yeah.
maybe we're not seeing certain things in the Marvel universe and stuff waiting for.
It'll come. It'll
Interesting.
come. If they can make money, it'll come.
Yes. What else do we have?
The
Quick little news that I found out yesterday was that Edge. Speaking of Star Wars and Asmodee's bubble, Edge Studios is the company that got all of the role playing games from FFG went over. That's their
The Star Wars?
Genesis system. Well, for everything, Legends of the Five Ring, their Genesis system. So they just got a website up. And they have coming soon, and they have the Star Wars banners finally there. There's been no word from them since that kind of merger. I don't know how long ago that is now.
The only word that they have given is that they're not producing anything new, that they're focused on reprinting what is already in
There.
print from FFG.
Yes. So that's
They didn't close the door on new books. They didn't close the door on making a new era or
yes.
going into a new era. Because right now there's only 3. There's the stuff during the rebellion. There's you can be a Jedi,
Age of Rebellion, Edge of the Empire,
and then you can be a bounty hunter, sort of like scummy guy.
no,
So they're
no,
just gonna-
no Imperial supplement, unfortunately.
No
They're just
Something
going
no-
to continue supporting what already existed.
No prequel
Yes,
era
and
stuff.
reprinting all that stuff too, which is no
Okay.
way to get it.
No prequel era stuff. No High Republic stuff. No sequel era stuff, except for a starter set.
Okay.
Like there's ample space to grow, even if you just kind of like reprint the book with new stuff.
Wasn't there one prequel book where you could play as like a clone trooper?
They had some supplements that
Supplements.
was like if you would like to play in this era.
and there was
it
a starter
single
set
book.
for the sequels too. 'Cause I remember Finn and them on
Since
there.
we're
But
talking about that, I have to ask, because we played it briefly. We played it at Gen Con,
we played it twice at Gen Con.
and then we played it.
We tried to play it
we tried to
PAX
play it
and
at
we
PAX,
missed.
and we missed.
we missed. Yeah.
So I wouldn't consider us just experts on the game itself. Why did it fail? Was it the company or was it the game?
I don't think that it failed. I think it's not as successful, but it was also
Well, why is it changing hands so many times now?
that's
Well,
just kind.
that's
That's
Asmodee.
Asmodee
Oh, okay.
kind of cutting up their ship and trying to sell it off in pieces.
All right, so
Yeah,
that
because they got all their role playing games. Like FFG doesn't have a single role playing game under their envelope anymore.
Like, I don't even know what FFG does anymore, except for like Champions and Arkham. I honestly don't know what they do.
Yeah,
other
what's
than
their
that.
thing
They have
anymore?
Unfathomable. That's the
Yeah.
one board game they've released the last 2 years.
years.
Which is,
Yeah.
mind you, on every YouTube algorithm I go on,
It's
because of
everywhere.
what I watch,
Yeah.
it's the opening thing for for almost every video.
Yeah.
5 years ago, you couldn't like walk through a game store without
Without seeing
picking
FFG.
16 FFG games.
Yeah.
Now you see 2 or 3.
Yeah.
Like they're really a living card
So
game
what
company
happened?
with a board game here.
Yeah.
Christian Peterson left, I think, is what
Okay,
happened.
so they're just not creative enough anymore.
Maybe they just would stretch so thin that they weren't producing what Asmodee wanted. Like, remember there was guys like working on XWing. All right, you're done with that ship. Now go over and do this living card game. Like, maybe they weren't the company what Asmodee wanted. Like divisions focused on this product, this type of game. That's the only thing I can
Yeah,
think
I don't know
of.
if it's their creative department that got gouged, or is it just something to do with Asmodee and what they're giving them to do?
If I had to put on my tinfoil hat, I'd say that under Christian Peterson, there was more of a be creative. I don't. Is it going to take you 3 months to make this game? Is it going to take you 6 months to make this game? Take you a year to make this game? Make it the best game you can. And FFG became known as a really good board game company. And then I think big money came in, and then it started to become deadlines, shipping dates, and we need this. We need this on this container on this date. And it became less about the creative aspect of it and more about the just churn.
okay,
And I think you had a lot of the creative people leave that studio when that started to happen. And then
When Navarro left, we kind of like I was like, why would this guy be leaving at like the height
Height
of
of it, yeah.
this? There's definitely behind the scenes.
I think a
inside
lot of them
trading.
also knew that this was coming. Like
Yeah.
this kind of like merger and split and things were coming. So
all right.
I have no idea. I have no
Well,
inside
either way,
information.
I'm glad it's supported again because maybe we can actually give it a full-on try.
Oh yeah,
again.
we always right before the pandemic. I rolled up a character. I was ready.
I played a session 0 with a couple friends who were going to join us in playing. I was
I
going to run the
remember.
game.
Yeah.
You guys were going to. I was having a session 0 with them because you guys were seasoned veterans. You didn't need to know how to play a role playing game. I played with them. Went really well. I had a nice little jumping off point, and then like 3 weeks later,
Pandemic.
everything shut down.
The world blew up.
We're getting back. Well, that's a good sign, though. When I saw that, I thought of you instantly. I'm like, okay, Edge Studios, at least it's on their website because they had zero. There was zero presence of anything they were doing for any game. And now it's starting to come. A few of the people I follow on Twitter, there's stuff on Edge Studios. Like, there's a banner. It says coming soon. So, like, for you to know, the Star Wars role-playing game is really interesting. It's very, I feel like the dice tell the story more than you do. You want to do things and, like, going to attempt it and roll. And then the success scenario versus the negative scenario you did it, but you have this negative effect. Or you didn't succeed, but this positive part came out of that.
Yeah,
I think that's really interesting.
This might turn off a D&D player, but there are no numbers on any of the dice.
No
It
math.
turned me off.
So it's
The
all
only reason I got through it is because it was Star Wars.
it's all about, epic success, epic failure,
Yeah.
exactly like Sal said. You can be successful at something and still mess up.
Yeah.
Like you unlocked that door, but the alarm just started going off. What are you going to do now? Like
Yeah.
you
Yeah,
definitely have lots of different story elements come out of the dice as opposed to just out of the DM's head, which is good
and it
and
helps the DM, right? Like 'cause
scary
You could
a little bit.
Yeah, because the dice kind of might divert your path.
I haven't been on that side of the screen of it, so I don't know how that would affect me. Because the other way it is, it's directly what the players say or do. But now the dice is having some input
Yes.
on the matter, and it could make. I'm not gonna say bad or good. I don't know.
Yeah,
I've
that's what makes it
experienced
more
first to
interesting.
see.
Yeah.
It's different
Because it's
That's all.
not as set too as there's freedom where it's not like math is dictating what's happening here and like you can't, interesting, definitely interesting. But I'm just glad it's something that might get supported, and if it's something that like either they don't sell off the whole company or if it goes a different way or who knows, WotC will buy it and make a 5e version of it in the end. We don't know what's gonna happen.
More is more.
More is more.
More is more. But yeah, moving past that, we have the Warhammer news as always. We get
It
the
seems like every
Battleforces in both sides, 40K and Age of Sigmar are coming. You're getting them in the store.
Massive amounts of them as well.
Ooh.
I ordered.
Ooh.
They required store owners to buy them in bundles. In other words, you couldn't pick and choose what you wanted.
There's
If you
5
bought-
40K and
if you
5
wanted
Age
any-
Sigmar.
If you wanted any of one, you had to buy the others, which I'm fine with because we were going whole hog anyway. But we're going to have 10 of each of the 40K and 5 each of the Age of Sigmar coming into the store. They are bargains. Basically, anywhere from US dollars, anywhere from $50 to as much as $85.
So I didn't do any of the 40K breakdowns. I did a breakdown of the Age of Sigmar ones because of how much points in game you get in the
It's
box.
a little easier to do
It's
that.
way
yeah.
easier because there's no, like in 40K, you could buy single models to add to units. There's upgrades. So the box can shift point-wise so drastically, but the Age of Sigmar boxes are pretty much fixed.
Yeah, and it's just a reinforced number, and it's a static price. Yeah.
If you want to make that unit bigger of 10, it doesn't go to 11. It goes 10, it goes to 20. You either can afford that extra 10 or you can't. Like there's no in between. So it made doing the boxes, translating them into game points. So for instance, the Soulblights, the vampire Soulblight Gravelords, mouthful. They are about 875 points. They were the lowest of all the point totals for an army. So you're getting just under 1,000. I think it's because you tend to have a lot of like zombies and skeletons and those things. They're very cheap as units go. And I think if you add up everything that's in the box, it's about like $290. So you're saving about $80 when it comes to the price, the retail price. MSRP, Bill. Slanesh.
You've awakened the Phil.
The Slanesh.
The head snapped.
The Slanesh box was interesting because I knew when I priced it point-wise for in-game, it was going to be high because Slanesh's army is way overpriced.
Yes.
So it came in at 1055 was the army you could build. So just over 1,000 points. That's with no named characters. Some of these boxes have a model that has a named version or the generic version. I just did generics. I mean, like in the vampires, it was an extra 5 points if you got the named one, so it really wasn't that much of a difference. So the Slanesh one is about $315, adding them all up, and you're saving about $105 when you buy that box, which is kind of interesting.
Okay.
The Lumineth box was about 815 points, which I kind of find interesting that it was that low.
And it was just the Earth cast, right? It was just the Earth.
Yeah, I mean, there's a Lord Regent on one of those like yak kangaroo things. It's a big model. There's Banner Blades, Wardens. There's a Ballista, Blade Lords, some Dawn Riders. The Dawn Riders are interesting because they're the real horse guys.
Those are the Earth worshippers.
Yeah. So they're by 815 points. That's $320.
Whoa!
Adding them all up, you're saving about $110 on that box.
Oh, hot damn.
So very interesting. And then on the end of that box, the last box is the Osiarch Bone Reapers.
Well, they were a little more
I thought
elite.
they were going to be like, they turned out to be the most points for the army. You get 1,140 points worth of units. So you're already like
a little more elite.
You're well over 1,000 points with that army out the box. And they're $300 about when you add everything up, about $90 savings for what they got.
All good
so they're
stuff.
all discounted, but I was shocked at how high Osiarch, getting 1,000-point army out the box.
Yeah.
Soulblight, I think you could add like one or two things like really quick and make up that
I think it's
for 1,000 points.
I think it's just the difference in the Osiarchs are more of an elite army, whereas the Vampire guys have a lot of chaff.
There's one unit of 20 Mortec guards with like their bone shield guys, and then it's like hero. They got this giant crawler. It's basically a walking catapult.
All elites,
really interesting stuff. But
you guys know off the top of your head what the 40K ones are? You don't have to tell me what the difference is.
So there's Death Guard, there's Admech, there's
Orcs,
and
then we said Death Guard already. What else? Admech, you said?
I said Admech.
What's the fifth one? What am I missing?
There's a Space Marine.
Oh, Space Marine. Oh, how could we forget the Postal Boys?
Yeah.
The
Sorry,
Smurfs.
I threw a wrench in there. I was just curious.
Yeah.
And then the fifth one.
That was all five.
Space Marines,
The Space
Orcs,
Marines,
Admech,
Nurgle, and Necron.
Oh, there's a Necron
Necron,
one. Okay. Yeah, it's once again, it's weird that you give me like 40K's out of my wheelhouse right now, but once again, you give me a Necron and a Space Marines box when like, all right, so these battle boxes, you didn't give me a Cruel Boys and a Stormcast box. You're giving me Necrons, which just came in Dominion. So it's kind of weird that you give me those two battle boxes. Like, give me two more armies that might have, can use a bigger reinforcement box like that. I mean, sure, a lot of players that already have Space Marines or bought into Dominion already have, Indominus have a ton of Necrons.
I guess it's
good for new players, don't get me wrong.
I think it's a matter, the Space Marine box works for any chapter.
Yes.
So you can throw anybody in there.
And then the Postal Boys.
Nurgle is that's the most popular of the evil.
And I guess we're so far removed from Indominus too that it doesn't hurt them. Whereas if you made a Stormcast box right now and Dominion's still on the shelves, it really wouldn't be
because what Indominus was 2 years ago to 15 months?
Yeah, last fall. No, I'm sorry, last spring. Not the spring that just passed, the spring before.
It was like right at the beginning of the pandemic.
Right when the store opened.
It was
That came out about a month before the store opened. So right in the heart, basically in the heart of the pandemic. So
yeah.
But
anyway,
either way, they're all bargains. Even the 40K ones are bargains.
They're all bargains. And aside from Soul Blight, minus like you could probably, I bet you the start collecting box could add into and make that well over 1,000 points. Everything's 1,000 points more or less to play. And the Lumineth maybe you could add like 1 unit or something.
There's a lot of plastic in those boxes. That's all I know.
There are a ton. But once again, all new miniatures. So like these aren't, you're not getting like a lot of, I don't know about the 40K side because they're on that.
Yeah, the AdMech, there's nothing new. That's one good thing they did. It's not like they threw in a bunch of old Eldar. Like if they have it in an Eldar box, I'd be like,
Or fish on us and give us the one exclusive mini and make you buy that box to get that one mini that's not going to be out for 6 to 9 months.
Everybody and his mother knows that Eldar need a rework, and that would feel like they were trying to.
I mean, there's some armies you just don't touch with that. You know what I mean?
And I think that's what they did here. I mean, Orcs just came out. Like you said about Necrons and Space Marines, they're within a year. Same with the Nurgle. And
AdMech?
AdMech feeling new.
Sisters is the other one.
Oh, Sisters was that one. Okay.
Yeah.
So they're all, like I said, they all have new miniatures to support their boxes. So really cool.
I think that was it on the Warhammer front.
Yes.
The Dragons, which we talked about last week, they just came out.
They're
in store.
Coming out. A lot of cool paint jobs on GW community site. People painting them all different ways. It's very interesting. I heard they're very interchangeable too.
Yes.
They're not set in the stance. Like you can swap the heads out, so like it might not look like what's on that box.
And they have
some interchangeability,
couple weapon choices too.
Armor changes, cool. So I thought that was kind of interesting. Whereas like they could make sculpts now where it's a little bit more modifiable, especially on a big thing like that. Very cool. Yeah, but moving on from there, we have kind of the theme of the show.
Oh, that's right. The theme of the show. Even though we're more than halfway through it already. We were going to announce the supply crate for December. This month's theme is, as you can look at Sal's shirt, is zombies.
Zombies.
The Walking Dead.
The Walking Dead. Yes.
The Unliving. They will be in this month's loot crate. We're looking to get it to you before next weekend, which is the 10th.
Yeah, before PAX.
We had talked about it. I was talking about Phil. We like to do it on Friday, but because PAX is the 10th, we're going to try to get them in store on Thursday. Because I know a lot of I know we're going.
Yeah.
And a lot of other of our customers are going to PAX that weekend.
So might want to get them before
if they want it
leave.
before, Phil says he should be able to get them into the store by Thursday.
We'll do an unboxing next week like we did the last one.
Yes, we'll do the reveal in the next podcast, which will be airing while we're at PAX.
Yes. And since we're talking about zombies, we want to discuss, maybe bring up this theme of, zombies in popular culture, zombies in movies and stuff.
Yes.
And I think the first thing you always got to put on the table is fast zombies or slow zombies. Which one do you prefer?
Now, when you say preferred, you mean like I like the stories about them better, or do I like hate them more?
There's a duality of that. So like
I hate fast zombies.
Yeah. So because
the only thing I have on zombies is the fact that I can outrun them, and they're stupid.
Yes. Yeah. So there's fast zombie movies. I enjoy them, but when it comes to like if your cousin Sal said, you want to live in a fast zombie world or slow zombie world? I'm taking slow zombies. I'm sorry. Because I feel like deaths in slow zombie movies are only based on stupidity and laziness. And you overreach yourselves. Like you get kind of like, they're just dead guys, right?
The Walking Dead is the classic example of what's the quote from The Walking Dead? Beware the dead. Fear the living.
Yeah, because it's
people are the problem, not the dead.
Yes.
The dead are just a hazard. They're like bears.
Yeah.
Or lions.
Like radiation.
You can take the Walking Dead and just turn them into tigers.
Oh, yeah.
Right. 9 billion tigers landed on the planet
rabid
from outer
cats.
space.
How about rabid cats?
Rabid cats. You can outsmart them and whatever.
Robots.
Humans are the problem.
We'll find the method on how to base your life around avoiding them. And what for me personally, I grew up on slow zombies, so I like what slow zombies did for me as a kid and like popular culture and like my brain and and fast zombies just
and then they campy movies that you kind of you love to hate.
Well, I could tell you. I'll find out Chris's first, and I'll get back to mine. I could tell you the movie that broke the rules, that destroyed the zombie genre for me, and I think for a lot of fans. But what's your fastest?
Well, I like slow only because my favorite zombie movies are the ones that they have a deeper meaning. Like how many zombie movies are there out there now? I like movies that have like the allegory, or they have like this stood for something else. Like Romero's original zombie movies, they all had different undertones.
Yeah, but
The zombies stood for X, Y, or Z. And yes, they were there. They were always a menace. But it was the fact that they stood for something that was kind of like happening in the real world. It's like it's like good sci-fi. Good sci-fi shines a light on something happening in the world today. I feel like
the social
the
things
zombie movie picked certain things to look at. Like Dawn of the Dead was definitely looking at like retail America.
Yeah.
And like Night of the Living Dead, you know, they all had their own little themes that they were looking at. And fast zombie movies are all about fast zombies. They're all about the zombie attacking you and you surviving and post-apocalyptic. I think the slow zombie movies always epitomized the allegory. And I like that more. So I think that's just why I like them more.
Yeah,
I can appreciate both of those.
Yeah.
I like them all, but yeah, I like that part.
I guess my like or dislike is like if I had to be in said movie, I would rather be in the slow zombie movie, without a doubt.
Yeah, and I think
because it's the slow zombie movie to me is always the epitome of why are you opening that door? Like, don't go in there. Like, you know, it says on the door. What's say on the door? Dead inside. Do not open. And yet they open it. You know that it's the typical.
Because there's always that like it's like I know there's a threat there, but we got to eat. Like I might have to. I have to go past that threshold.
It up prepared, I'm okay with that. Like Sal's on the, you're on the AK over here. He's got the flamethrower over there. He's over there. Phil's over there with an axe. We're ready to go. Let's open the door.
You always have to remember.
I hate the walking around just by yourself opening doors. Why?
You know what? You know why that happens?
50 zombies behind the door.
Because you have real world understanding of threats and how to deal with them. The people in Walking Dead is really interesting because Robert Kirkland wrote that where that world they live in, there is no definition for the word zombie. They don't have.
That's why they don't use it.
There's no George Romero movie where they learned. Like we know every. Like I get you see a zombie, you destroy the brain. Like you know that's intrinsically put into your psyche.
Which is why I think The Walking Dead is fading away now because there's people that have been living in this world now for 3 years and they still don't get it.
Oh no, well now it's a microcosm of how could a pandemic happen?
Speaking of. To go to that point, though, I do like the slow zombie movies better, but there is an exception for me, and it's exactly for Chris's point. Resident Evil. The Resident Evil it's actually a virus that turns them into basically not zombies, but like cannibals.
Yeah, they're like Resident Evil has it's tiers of,
but it was
like Left 4 Dead game where it's like tiers of zombies.
The scary part was one of them was cosmetics. That they put it in the cosmetics. The other one was it was in the vaccine. They used a vaccine for like chicken pox or something like that, and that turned them into The Walking Dead.
Yeah.
So you apply that to what's going on nowadays.
Well,
and
don't start that.
Yeah. I mean, this is why I like, but I did like the story for the Resident Evil zombies.
Yes. Resident Evil zombies fall into.
But they also went into the whole. Like they were evolving on their own.
Yeah,
like
and there's
liquor,
gargant-sized zombies, and
the liquor was like from the movie.
Left 4 Dead, one of the greatest fun zombies, the fast zombie games. So they come around the corner and they wake up and that whole thing charges you.
The witch,
but they had tiers of zombies, which I just want.
Right, you got to be quiet around the witch. You start screaming.
There was the big
there was like a
brutes
Hulk
with the one arm charging
through the wall and start messing stuff up. Yeah,
I'll tell you the movie that broke all rules of zombies. So Romero is the godfather of the zombie movies. Night of the Living Dead is the classic. He made the rules.
Pittsburgh represent.
Obviously there are zombies in culture before that. There are old 50 black and white movies about zombies, but they're more based around voodoo and like that kind of feel. They are undeath and people coming back. But like Romero coined the whole horde zombies taking over, America or civilization.
Was it Bela Lugosi was in White Zombie?
Yeah,
that was one of the original ones.
So when I grew up, Night of the Living Dead, which were allegories for, there's also a lot of racism in the African American and like South,
absolutely,
and that whole struggle in the house, and
that was that movie when he comes out and they do that to him. I don't know.
Well,
can I spoil a 30-year-old movie?
Oh my
but
God.
They shoot that
30-year-old
He's even older, so he's even older, right?
It's ancient.
Yeah. They shoot that son of a bitch in the head, and I was like, that's fucked up.
Yeah. I mean, it's a great way to end the movie, like after
all
this,
but it was like
so for me though. Then we had Dawn of the Dead, which encompasses the Mole, which is I think the best zombie movie of all time because if you're gonna be locked up, I used as a kid, we used to drive to the stores
Malls
down,
were-
and I'm
malls were a big
which
thing.
store Kmart was the one back in the day because I'm
Yeah.
food, guns, I
Yeah.
got toys, I'm like, I could clothes, you know what I mean? Like the idea of being encapsulated. Whereas in the
In the
first movie,
store,
they're locked
yeah.
in a house. It was a rural farmhouse. They didn't have supplies, so it was very stressful there. This is you're in paradise, and it's a great to go back and see a '70s mall. If you go back and just watch it for the stores that are in it, there's a
pushing
full,
around the carts, right?
There is that
Don't the
that
zombies pushing around the
that
carts
mall's
and
in
all that?
Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
So you can still visit this mall. They've renovated, but there's still facades that from the movie is still there. It's on my to-do list.
To go list.
If you want to go, come with me.
Oh,
But
let's do it.
there was a full armed gun store in that mall. If you want to, when you watch that movie, dude,
Pennsylvania.
To the tilt. They had a full supermarket. They had an upstairs and downstairs, like Macy's, JCPenney like store. Really interesting. The spotlight of that culture and what the mall offered. There was a skating rink. There are arcade games. They're all playing arcade
Yeah,
games.
this is
in that.
back. This is like the beginning of the heartland.
This is when the
malls,
mall was
you
the
know?
heart of America, right? So that's why it's there. But then the one movie that broke everything for me was Return to the Living Dead.
Okay.
It is a spin-off movie where the zombies are in a vat in the basement of a factory, and by stance they open up the vat. The guy gets gassed with whatever is in there, and that what was it? It was like a fumes that came from the military created some kind of agent. These two guys get infected.
They're trying to weaponize it.
And
yeah.
then the problem with that movie is it breaks the rules. There's an animated dead. Hit it in the head with a brain. They hit it with a pickaxe. It doesn't die.
Doesn't die.
They don't know what to do. They can't kill the zombie. Now, to me, you're already kind of ruined because now there's no hope at all in this movie. And the rest of the movie, there is zero hope. It's just how are they going to die? In what form?
Like the hands are moving on their own.
Well, that's
still.
when they decide to chop the body up.
Yeah.
That does nothing. So we're going to incinerate it.
Yeah.
They burn the body. The smoke goes in the air.
Yeah.
It rains over the cemetery, and then all the dead rise. And then all those zombies, now they're fast-moving zombies. They're not slow-moving zombies, and they can't be killed. So even with gunshots and all that stuff. So now there's
no hope.
There's no hope.
Yeah.
At least with the idea of I could find a niche in either movie, fast or slow zombies. There's a spot for me in that world that I can survive if I play by my rules and I play my cards right.
Isn't that the one where they? I remember, I don't know if that was the one, but there was one I remember like they would get on the zombies were like talking.
Yep.
And he's like, send more cops.
Yeah.
Send more paramedics.
That was the first time
that's the
there
one,
was
yeah.
like about eating brains.
Yeah, that was the first time they said brains.
Brains, because
yeah.
they didn't want anything else. They just wanted to eat your brains.
brain, yeah.
Which kind of brought over into popular culture and other things. But Romero zombies just wanted to eat. It was an empty feeding system. Like eat. I'm not being fed. It just have this innate hunger left over in the brain, like an animalistic urge, just to consume. So that movie screwed me up as a kid because it like broke all the rules.
Yeah.
But then you get into things like 28 Days Later, an English take on Fast. It was a rage virus. Fast zombie movie. The fast running zombies, those guys were like, we call them,
What's the one with
Spear hands?
Blade hands?
Blade hands?
What's the one with Brad Pitt?
Right, it was World War Z.
World War Z. That's
That
it.
was kind of like the 28 Days Later. The guy who wrote that book, the World War Z book. He wrote
Max Brooks.
Max Brooks.
Mel Brooks' son.
Oh, that's what it is? I did not know that.
He kind of took that. It was all memoirs. The book was all like memoirs after the apocalypse ended.
Book
And they
was
were
awesome.
looking back at like all the events that took place. But yeah, there's an interesting take on if you're sick, like you're not
Yeah,
a
that was a
host, or you're
different.
not
That was, and that's
something-
what was good. Again, it was the story that was good.
But man, those
Even though I didn't
waves of
like-
zombies pouring down the street
When they
in
grabbed
Israel and
they
stuff.
grabbed the helicopter. They just started piling up,
Do you
and they got up to the
remember
helicopter.
going up the wall in Israel over the wall? Like that
Yeah.
was like visually stunning, like for what it is, but like as a sense of.
But I like the story, and I like that they were giving you hints throughout the movie. You just didn't see it.
Yes.
Because when at the end, when he realizes what it is, because he sees like the little girl just like sitting there, and they're just running right by her, and then
there was a kid who had a bald head and he's all the zombies like going around like a rock in the river, and not realizing that he was either a cancer survivor or he was sick. Really interesting. That was an interesting take on getting up to that point. But once again, fast zombies, I don't want to be there.
I don't want to be there.
Interesting for me when I was young, after like the 1978 is Dawn of the Dead in the Mall. There was a few Italian directors that made there's an Italian bunch of Sergio Argento. There's a bunch of Italian directors that made horror movies, and there's a movie called Zombie, Zombi in Italian, and it's 1979 it was made, and it is like, I mean, Italian horror is on its own level, but like the Like they actually put real maggots in the prosthetics of the guy with the worms he's wearing, like over the top. The first time I actually saw a zombie underwater get eaten by a bull shark, I think it was actually a sequel called Zombie 2. I don't know how they got the actor in there, and there's a bull shark eating him, and it's an actor, it's not a dummy. Crazy stuff.
Scary.
Great scene when they pull a girl onto like a giant stake of wood in her eye, and it's like special effects back then were off the hook, but really dated. They look bad now, but going back, but that was a movie that really screwed me up zombie wise.
These zombie movies are what brought Phil's ideas, I guess, to doing the crate.
Yes, but there will be hints, right? We'll get to that in a little bit, right?
Yeah, there's going to be some hints in the crate itself, but we'll discuss that at a later date.
Towards the end, maybe.
Yeah. Well, I actually we shouldn't even discuss it until we actually reveal the box.
Yeah. Okay. Very cool.
Because we don't want to ruin it for the patrons.
Then there's zombies went into zombie humor. My first humorous one was Shaun of the Dead. I think that's my favorite one. Zombieland's a good one. But I think Zombieland always focused more on like the cast and the humor amongst them. Whereas Shaun of the Dead made me laugh.
Zombies were just they were just there.
They were just there.
They were just there.
I just
and
like
they
Shaun of the
ran,
Dead.
but they weren't like they ran like humans. They didn't run like supernaturally fast.
No,
they were just like
but they weren't shambling slow. It's kind of like they were.
There was a couple. If they were messed up, they would shamble. Yeah. But if they were in good shape, they would run after you like a normal human speed. Though.
Yeah, I don't like when they notice you and then they take off. Like there's that, and then like they come at you. Okay. I just want constant slow, So then it's like that mistake of
you just want shambling mounds all the time, just constantly.
Yeah, like the horde, like the when there's 20 of them, but when there's 300 of them, you're like, oh, like that becomes its own entity, right? Mm-hmm. It makes me think back of like when I was doing my research, I was thinking like in zombies in D&D. Like I went back and looked at a 2nd edition zombie. It's like they do 1d8 points of damage. They're like. They were like 2 hit die.
Yeah, one of them is
so you roll a 2d8 and see what their hit points is. They didn't even have like any kind of like 2nd edition zombies didn't even have like a mass ability or like they would just all right, something to throw first level characters, get in your way. Mm-hmm. It was always
it's like Warhammer zombies. They're literally just the front line to keep your big
screens and just like eat them up. Made me think of World of Warcraft where that kind of zombie people getting infected and coming back as the Forsaken or the Forsaken breaking away from the Scourge. That was an interesting take on zombies. And they have different, forms of zombies, like the big Stitch guy. What were those guys called? The Abomination?
Abominations, yeah.
Like cool. There's a cool take in video games and zombies.
The famous one is Stitches. That's what it is.
He was the name
Stitches. is the famous one.
And then we get right back to even 40K has the plague zombies from Nurgle have their own form. Or 40K even has its own...
Pretty much every genre you could look at
has some kind of shambling undead. It's just kind of like don't get in the mass.
Are there any in sci-fi?
Right. So
they obviously
old Star Wars Legends. There was a Death Trooper was a thing where the Empire was working on a virus that and it reanimated a bunch of like stormtroopers and people have cosplayed as like zombie stormtroopers. But then they turned Death Trooper into the troopers we get with Krennic and stuff.
Because we have it in Marvel. Matter of fact, it's becoming very prevalent now.
Yes, the comic series was huge.
And I hate seeing Captain America.
It was like a little mini series that came out. Like I don't even know when it came out, but it blew up. Yeah. And now there's Marvel zombies everywhere. And it's on Kickstarter. It's coming to Kickstarter.
Zombicide. It was in the What If too, wasn't it?
Yeah, there was a What If
cartoon. The visuals are like amazing. Yeah. It's Zombicide, Marvel Zombicide. Zombies.
Yeah, you want to talk about printing money? That's that Kickstarter prints money.
I say it a million times. You put Marvel in a burning bag of poo, and you know what happens.
I mean, look at
you put Marvel, you put Zombicide, and you put zombies all in the same place. Like,
look at Zombicide. Just speak of that game. That's successive.
Is it Kickstarter only?
Right now, yeah. Right now. It'll go to retail after the Kickstarter's over.
You'll get more out of the Kickstarter, right? So, but like, look at the success of Zombicide. How many Zombicides there are, and that's based off the popularity of The Walking Dead brought into serialized, and Robert Kirkman's philosophy always was, I watched Dawn of the Dead, Romero, I watched all those movies as a kid, I just never wanted them to end. So he wrote the X amount, 200, 300 issue comics, I forgot what they ended at, and the TV show's drastically getting there. So, but yeah,
zombies in the box. Zombies in a box. Maybe we should have Phil write that on the box, like.
Well, there'll
know
be
if
stuff
I'm
on the
gonna
outside of the
decide.
box from what I heard. So
Yeah, he's got a
definitely interesting decor.
he has an interesting brain.
Zombies are immune to slashing,
Slashing? Is that what?
half damage on
half
slashing.
D&D wise, yes.
Yeah. And then I think 5th edition zombies
Mm.
have the regen. You roll difficulty based on damage, and if they pass, they come back with one hit
Come back
point.
with one hit point.
Like your damage,
Get back,
they're
they
still
get messed
animating.
up, and then it'll come back up.
Right back up again.
And I remember low levels, like when you're first, like you're level 1, that can be devastating because
absolutely
it never just is like that's where it's not like an
Which
orc.
is the fear of them. Like you can't put
It's
them
bad.
down. Yeah.
I never forget, we did an adventure once a long time ago. We were in a bar. We pissed off a patron. Patron leaves. You find out that patron is a necromancer or an evil cleric. And it's like, oh, you want to... And remember the whole bar getting attacked by zombies. Now we're in the tavern.
All of a sudden they're scratching at
And
the
it's like, you
windows
know,
and everything.
yeah,
Like, what
it's-
happened? Where
yeah.
did this come from? Why is this happening?
Yeah, it's like the silly, patron, I'm too close to the window, get dragged outside. You know, it was like, it was a fun adventure, but like, after that, you don't see zombies ever again.
No.
Unless you got like, well, they did like zombie eye tyrants and stuff, right? Like,
Death
like
Tyrants.
zombie beholders,
But
zombie
Death
dragons.
Death Tyrant is more of a almost like a lich of a beholder.
Well, yeah. But like zombie dragons
Yeah, they're there.
were
Undead in general is a big thing.
yeah. But zombie became its own template
Yeah,
as opposed to like
Mhm.
a wraith dragon or a shadow dragon.
Or vampire. That's a temple that always scared me. Maybe we'll talk about that next year.
Yeah, well, that's an interesting movie.
Ooh.
Vampire.
Vampire.
What a movie that went to the edge of vampires and zombies was I Am Legend.
I Am
I
Legend.
Am Legend,
yeah.
yeah.
You know, like, and that's funny because as soon as we were talking about vaccines for the pandemic, that was the first time I remember the beginning of that movie was
that's what that was,
we
too.
have the cure for cancer.
Yep.
And then it's him driving down Midtown Manhattan
Yeah.
with like, you know,
The dog and that's
I
it,
always
yeah.
remember like the cracks in the ground. There was full like weeds
Weeds coming
like
out,
reeds, like, you know,
I remember
4
him
feet high.
hunting in the trailer. He's hunting a deer in like Times Square.
Times Square.
And he loses the deer
Yes.
to a lion.
Yeah,
that
like escape from the zoo.
Zoo,
Yeah.
yeah.
Spoiler alert, not spoiler alert, but like Easter egg in Times Square in that scene, there's a Batman versus Superman trailer poster. And that was
poster.
years before that
ago,
movie
right?
ever came out. So it's
Yeah.
kind of funny. But yeah, that's like that fine line of those were zombies, fast zombies, but they were also like vampires because they couldn't be in
They
the
didn't like
sunlight
the
and
light.
stuff. So it was a mixing, a de-evolving human, almost like a ghoul. But yeah, mixing the genres, as they say.
Right,
But,
if that's it on our zombie discussion, don't forget to tune in next week. We'll have the reveal of,
Yes.
of the box.
And somewhere amongst this video will be Phil's floating.
Watch for Phil popping in somewhere. We're gonna leave it up to him. He has carte blanche on how he wants to scare the crap out of you.
Maybe a zombie or something. Who knows?
So don't blame me. Blame Phil if you get scared.
Yes.
If you get scared out of your mind, but it is a zombie.
Yeah.
So it's
Leave a
supposed to scare you.
comment, leave the password, the secret word in the comment
In the
too,
comments.
and then we'll hopefully give away. Maybe we'll do the socks first.
Okay.
Bring
Sounds
the
good.
socks.
Yeah, the holiday theme. Yeah. let's
Yeah.
It is. Yeah. Well, it is. You know, it
Yeah.
is.
I
around
can't say those are the
Christmas
right size because I just grabbed them, but they're
time.
socks.
They'll fit somebody.
Yeah. Yeah. Put them on your dog.
Yep.
I want to see
Why
it.
not? We have all
I
these-
want to
we
see
have all these
pet
pics
pics.
now.
pet
and it-
pics. I want to see an RSG. I want to see
Pet
one of
pics
your
says-
animals with those socks
I'm
on.
glad I came up with that idea for pet pics. I don't think it was Phil though. I actually think it was Zach that actually came up with the idea. So we'll give credit to.
Or Tyler. It might have been Capuchin.
Well,
Tyler.
actually, Zach was actually the one that brought it up first, like months ago.
Yes.
He even had to say it. I'm the one that said it 3 months ago. Blah, blah, blah. Well, there you go,
You
Zach.
got
You
your
got
pet
your
pics.
street cred. All right, so
A lot of RSG pet pics is great.
all right.
Great to
more is more, right, Zach?
yes.
Just keep your sneakers on, bro, and everything will be fine. We wanted to also announce that coming January, we're going to have 2 new shows coming to the Red Seal Gaming channel.
Yes.
It won't just be the Red Seal Roundup anymore. We're going to have Phil's going to be doing a painting and modeling channel.
That the RSGN
RSG Network. Yeah, we're trying to build. Well, we're trying to.
I'm just going to do that sound.
We're trying to add
Breaking news.
new content other than just the 3 momos here, just bullshitting.
Yesing in the
BSing
tower.
on the tower. We're gonna have painting and modeling. It's gonna be starting with Phil, as he is the more accomplished painter out of all of us for sure.
No doubt.
Then we're also gonna be having Waylon and Chris, possibly maybe more. We'll see. Probably have guests on, whatever. They're gonna start doing some board game content. Because those two of those two are some of our more heavy board game players. Too,
Yeah, and you get to see the board games being played, the pros and cons of them, and like, is it the kind of game you might like to pick up for yourself for your play group and stuff? So
exactly.
Board games can be like that. You're never really sure of the box, and you want to get maybe watch a video where someone has the experience of playing it. And feel
Don't judge a game by its box cover.
Watch
the video.
Watch these two
Watch the
momos
video.
play it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Hey, wait a minute.
So on top of that, Red Soul Roundup will have its first live podcast in early January, early 2022. Hopefully January. I'm thinking we'll do it in January. We'll see.
get past all the craziness of the holidays.
Get past the crazy. Yeah, we want people to be around to watch it because we want to do it live, and it'll be the Q&A sessions. You can talk to us live. We'll have discussions with everybody on Discord and Discord and YouTube. Probably do both at the same time. We'll have 2 different chat channels. Phil has a wicked technical setup nowadays in the back here. He's like, it's looking like actually looking.
He's like 40 feet away that way. We have to like pretty much just look over there.
Hey, you ready? I'm actually touching him right now.
I can't just reach out and touch him. I swear.
Yeah.
But his setup's getting really technical, so we'll be able to accommodate lots of chat and discussion during a live session. I'm looking forward to it. Be interesting. We got a lot of wise guys in the store, so we're gonna have some maybe NSFW comments coming from these momos. We'll see what happens.
Yeah. The mods will just delete you.
Yeah. Also, don't forget for the giveaway that we're going to be doing every week this month, to be eligible to win something, you must be subscribed to our YouTube channel. You have to leave a like, and you have to comment the secret phrase.
Yes.
Those are the 3 things that are required.
I don't necessarily have to be a subscriber, but just at least leave the comment. Obviously, the like and subscription helps us greatly and stuff.
Yes.
Leaving a comment definitely is
the
the way for us to
bottom,
grab your names and know who to pick, basically.
Exactly.
So, but yeah, if you could hit the subscribe button, definitely helps us get do more of this.
Do them all.
Do
Don't
them
forget
all.
that bell too.
Hit
bell
that
icon.
bell, right?
Yes. I mean, if you're part of our Discord too, you get the alerts there also.
Bring in to remind people.
Shame.
There we go. All I got to do is wave my hand
Dude,
now.
she's
and
on
people
Ted
know what that
Lasso. You
is.
gotta watch Ted Lasso.
We got to do the
She's in
shame.
there.
That's how we get people to subscribe. If you don't subscribe, it's
You get shame belled.
Shame bell.
Right.
Okay.
Gotta just flash her up on the screen.
Exactly. And
We gotta do our Patreon shoutouts.
we got to do our Patreon shoutouts. So I guess I'll kick it off with the most fabulous fifth, also known as Faison.
We got Howard R.
Dan A. Dinadan. Thanks for being a patron, man. It's great.
Don't forget about Yukon.
Craig.
Craig H.
We got Chris S. I don't know who we got a lot of Chris's. So
I've never seen this name before. Wei Lin. You ever heard of this guy?
I don't know that guy.
I don't know. He just
I remember
don't
seeing
know.
him in a shampoo commercial once. I think that's where I saw him.
Wei Lin. Keep
Then
playing
we got-
fat, buddy.
Then we got Danielle, Danica,
Danica.
or Danicha. I don't know how she says it. I'm gonna have to ask her. She's in the store every week. I should just ask her.
we got Aiden the Rat Boy. We know who he is.
We got Dirty Tage.
Dirty.
Dirty.
And then we got Danny Church.
Church. David B.
Followed by Matt C. Thanks for being a patron, man.
Oh, Anthony M. Thank you as always.
Zach. I'm assuming that's
That
More is
is
more.
that is he of the open toe.
Key of the Open Toe. The More of More.
Then we have Aiden A. I believe you call him Secundus. Is that correct?
Secundus. That's how I
Secundus.
call him. Yes. We used to call him
Ever
something-
changing the Sad Duck Man name in Discord. Now he's the Holiday Sad
That's
Duck
why.
Man.
That's why he's. I used to call him Aiden the Lesser, but we thought that was
We moved on.
a little bit.
He's
of-
been
Secundus. I think he's been. He has more power now.
Yes.
He's now on the plinth.
He's on the plinth, and then we got K Tough, who's
Tough.
probably hopefully at the store tonight. We'll go see him after the podcast.
We got Michael C.
Baron getting into fab. Nice.
Oh, is he really? He's been getting into
He's been
fab?
playing a little bit. Yeah, that's good.
Oh, gonna get more Baron's money. I'm coming for your wallet, Baron. Timothy. That's Timbo Slice.
Timbo Slice.
I love Timbo
Timbo.
Slice.
Where's the fire slaves, man? You gotta get those cracking.
Oh,
we gotta
yeah,
some Age of Sigmar going.
We didn't have naked dwarves running
I
around.
gotta say Gilberto.
Get it bad though. I love
Gotta say that as well as I can.
Eric here. Thank you very much, man.
And last but not least is Rick D. Rick D. Wasn't that like a famous
Wasn't he a singer?
DJ?
Yeah. Or Rick D. Wasn't he
Rick
like the
Maybe it's him. I don't know. We'll see.
come spin the wheel.
It comes from the wheel. Whatever the case, thank you all for your support. It's really, really appreciated.
Shiva, shout out to Evie, also Chef Evie, who's coming
Evie,
back
the
and be
chef.
back in the store cooking soon, hopefully.
Hopefully, because we're all
feeding the
starving.
masses.
Nobody's eating.
Yes.
We're going to
yes,
die.
yeah. These guys don't know where to order food from. So,
No,
I mean,
me neither.
like
well, she's been in the store. She came back. She popped in on Black Friday. She's still recovering, so I'm sure she'll be fine. She's looking well.
yeah, Evie's our resident person who likes to make food, and she reaches out to people, and she kind of
Yeah, everybody orders food from her in the store, and she brings it in homemade,
home cooked and
scratch built.
scratch built.
Food, because instead of scratch built models, we got scratch built food now too.
Yes.
Yeah. And it's been good. Actually, I've had the chicken franchise. I've had
Just like very, very wide. The menu is expanding. So
it's expanding, and
Yes.
she's been like surveying the people to see what they would want.
yeah, I mean it's great. Can't go wrong.
Well, it's good. It just it keeps them fed and it keeps them in the store. Yeah. Don't leave the store because Evie makes good food.
You don't want to go. You're not, let's go to Wawa. You
Yeah,
Evie
hell of a
cooking
Wawa.
home-
Give me some
homemade
Evie
stuff. Come
Give
on.
me some Evie's chicken franchise.
Come on.
We're good to go. So
Yeah, I think that's it. Just we'll see you all.
same bat time, same bat channel.
Yes.
Next week. So never stop gaming.
Keep rolling dice.
Always draw a good card.
Shout out to my daughter Charlotte. Otherwise she'll kill me.
Jolly girl, what's up, Jolly girl?